right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, good afternoon. My name is Brian Rudden. I'm the proud principal of Pinecrest Cadence and Pinecrest Virtual, and it's a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. Like we said, tomorrow, go time. Can't believe we're already at that point where we're heading back to school and getting started. I know a lot of the CCSD schools started on Monday, and now here we go to kick it off tomorrow. But we're excited and we're ready. We've been working hard all summer and definitely prepared to get the school year off to a great start. Every year, we discuss as a leadership team a motto or a theme that really aligns with our mission and vision of our school. I'll get into our mission and vision in a second on the next slide. But this year, we really discussed what would be the best theme for the 23-24 school year. And after really considering what we were looking for, we came up with Be Connected. And now I brought this to my kids, and they were like, "What do you mean, like PlayStation or Xbox?" I'm like, not be connected to technology, but be connected to each other. And be connected within a community to different organizations, or to a sports program, or to a performing arts program, or to an activity, or to each other, or to a friend, or to a teacher. And so I think it's important, and I think there's a lot of evidence out there that would suggest that a couple things. One, people who are connected feel more valued and feel more invested in what they're a part of. But then also there's a direct correlation between social emotional learning and academic success. And so when students are in a good place mentally and they feel accepted and they feel happy and they feel a part of something, even at a young age, because they can sense those things, then they translate into better academics. So we really are focusing this year on Be Connected, and all the things that we've done as a school in preparation for the 23-24 school year really aligns with this thought in mind, whether it's Spirit Days on Friday to allow them to celebrate their different organizations or clubs they're a part of, or whether it's little things like the hair, unnatural hair color that we'll talk about a little bit more. Those are just all things that hopefully allow them to express themselves a little bit, but also feel more connected to the school. Our mission and vision. I really view both of these, specifically the mission, and I've used the analogy or framed it as like a light tower. If you think of like a ship at sea and you have the light tower that guides you, it lights your path. Our mission is that. It's the focus that we have as an organization, the beacon that allows us to make determinations, both as far as our academic trajectory, as well as just different policies and procedures that we may implement. As a team, as a leadership team, when we sit down and have to make these determinations, we always refer back to, hey, what is our mission? What is Pinecrest's mission? What are we here for? And it's to unite the community and to prepare students for college and career. And I really love this mission. I break it down a little differently in my mind, but when I hear the word unite, I think of the word partnership, because it really is a partnership between school and families, and us making sure that you all are involved and that we're transparent and clear with families so that they can be involved and they can be aware and up to date on what their students are doing and how they're doing academically, and that we're not sugarcoating things, that we're having honest conversations, because it's important, and that's what's going to allow everybody to be the most successful. So I look at it as a partnership, and then I look at college and career as preparing people for life, right? There's not one path, there's multiple paths to allow you to be successful in life. We hope that we can prepare students to do any of those paths that they so choose, whether it's college or career, or both. And so that's what I love about our mission. Our vision is that scholars perform at the highest level in all academic measures, and that this just speaks to our academic rigor and our high expectations as a school as it pertains to academics. Even at a young age, it's still something that we really focus in on, because we believe that it creates good habits and good skill set at a young age, then it will carry on throughout their educational career. So even at a young age, we focus on this. Hi guys, come on in. All right, and this is our leadership team over in the elementary building. I've said it in the past few informational sessions, but it rings true. I was always an athlete my whole life. Played soccer, I was part of a team. And I just believe so much in the power of a good team that's united with a shared focus. And I love that on a team, everybody individually has different skill sets, but they're all important to the bigger picture of that team and that organization. And so we're no different. We all bring something different to the table. and on different days, maybe it's different things. But nevertheless, I could not do what I do. We could not do what we do as a school without these wonderful people up here, excluding myself, but the rest of the group. They do an amazing job, and they'll definitely be people that you'll want to get familiar with and connect with. We have Megan Utuck and Brittany Ramirez now. Megan Utuck is K2 assistant principal, and Brittany's been the 3-5 assistant principal. Megan's coming from St. Rose. We're super excited to have her. St. Rose Pinecrest has always been an extremely high performing elementary school. So she brings a lot of nuance and things that they've done over there and hopefully we can integrate and build off of things we already do well here with her. So we're excited about that addition. And then the rest of the team is all returners from last year. And so we continue to build on strength. These are just a few highlights from last year. Cadence was highlighted for having some of the most stable data from probably around the pandemic time through the next few years after that into last year's data points. We've really stabilized. I think it was natural to see kind of a pullback from the data after students were having to be online for a whole entire year without the connection of the school. But we've really stabilized that and actually have grown in many ways, both in ELA and in math across the board. So this is really exciting. In addition, and this is top secret, and I don't know if it's 100%, so I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like we're potentially in a place where we could be earning as a 5-star elementary school this year. And it would be the first time in about 5 years that we would be in that position. So we're super excited if that happens. It looks like that's the direction we're going. It's not 100%, so we'll wait to hear from the state and wait to see how that all falls into place. But we're really hopeful, and we think that the trajectory of everything, the data points and what we're seeing, looks like we're headed in that direction. I think the exciting thing about this is that of the elementary building, 95% of that staff and team are all returning this year. So that says a couple things to me. One, they enjoy working here and they love this community and they want to continue to be a part of it. But two, we get those impactful educators back in our building again that were ones that have led us to the point where we're at, potentially earning those 5 stars. So very excited about that. Elementary has a lot of great things happening. Pinecrest system as a whole has also just been highlighted overall same way, just about the consistent focus on education and excellence. These are a couple of things I just want to highlight real quick. This is for once you get older. We hope obviously all the students stay from the time that they're kindergarten all the way up through college with us, because we consider ourselves a K-college program since we have a big dual enrollment portion for our high school. But we hope students stay with us the whole time. We think that would be absolutely incredible, and that's our goal. And if they do, this is some things to look forward to. Our students have earned over 4,000 college credits through our dual enrollment program. Many of our students in our dual enrollment program, which is juniors and seniors, have graduated with associate's degrees prior to even getting their high school diploma, which is amazing. So when they walk across the stage to get their high school degree, they've already got the associates in hand, and a lot of those costs are paid for by the school. So we hope we can continue that trajectory. The program's expanded every year, and we see a lot of positive growth there. We also had 99% of our students pass the CTE Workplace Readiness Exam. CTE is our career and technical educational tracks. And so these are things like cybersecurity, graphic design, we have aviation. So really industry-specific areas that we've identified that are niches in our community and in our state that have jobs available. And we'll continue to navigate, and we have meetings and keep track of that so that when your students are at that point, it may be different. And we may try to pivot or adjust some of those tracks to make it more relevant for whatever the need is at that time in the state and in the country. But we're really excited that 99% all passed. And we think the 1% actually did pass. The question was messed up. So, but that's the story. We're sticking to it. All right. Well, for new families, you've come at a great time. We've finally finished all of our build out. So we are solidified at Pinecrest Cadence we might get another shed because we need some storage, but overall there's no more construction, no more building. That's really composed of a lot of our time over the past 7 years. I've been here since we broke ground 7 years ago. This will be going into my 8th year at Cadence. And we're finally at a point where we're just settled in and ready to lock things in and hone things in for the future. So it's a great time. We're a big school. I don't know if you've had a chance to walk around, but we are a big campus. The elementary building is going to be out that way. You have the middle school building and then the high school building. And then these facilities, both the performing arts building as well as the gym, are really used by all parties at our school for different reasons. The majority of the high school gym is used by high school students, but also middle school PE, and sometimes elementary students come over there to do different performances, and same goes with the performing arts building. So they're really multifaceted. We have 190 employees, so we got a lot of educators here that really care about your students and want to look out for their well-being. Of these 90 students, a lot of that is also TAs and support members. We could not do the job without the boots on the ground, without our support staff, without our TAs, without our hall monitors, without our lunch aides. These people are paramount to our school's success. And the fact that we returned every single one of them, I think speaks to the culture that we've built at our school. But I also just think it speaks to the quality of this community, that they feel valued and feel a part of something. And it's really incredible because when you can return quality people like that year over year, you don't have to retrain. They know the students, and it really makes it seamless going into the next year. So very excited about our staff, very excited about who we're returning, and looking forward to a great year. Forms of communication. So these are just a few examples of communication that we have. We believe strongly as a school that transparent, honest communication, proactive communication are critical to us building a trusting relationship with you as families and guardians. What I mean by that is we're going to give a lot of different avenues for communication to come out. We're going to always try to be ahead of the game with communicating when, hey, a student's struggling or this is going on. We're not going to wait till the last minute to make sure that you're aware of different things that are happening. We'll talk a little bit about Infinite Campus and how you can download an app that can help you track some of that information. But from a school standpoint, we're always going to try and provide avenues ahead of time as efficiently as possible. One of the other things that I wanted to point out up here is our parent impact meetings. So parent impact meetings is just an opportunity for families in the community to touch base with the leadership team. So our leadership team probably be once every 2 months, maybe once every month, depending on what's going on. The first one's going to be in September. And what we'll do is we'll address the community and have conversations. We'll have Q&A at the end, but we'll talk about, hey, what are some upcoming events? What are maybe some hurdles or some challenges that we're seeing across campus, or maybe in specific areas, elementary, middle, high, or just different struggles or different positive things. Hey, let's celebrate this. We got a lot of great things going on. Wanted to make you aware of some celebrations that we have at our school. We always like the celebrations. Those are the fun things. So, but it's just an opportunity for us to have FaceTime with you all as the community and as parents. And then what we'll do is we do project this on Zoom, and we also post it on Facebook. So we know a lot of people work and they don't have the opportunity necessarily to come in when we're doing it live, but you can always view it later on Facebook, or you can hop onto Zoom on your phone or wherever you're at and be able to view it from there as well. So again, just trying to give a lot of different opportunities for families to get in touch with the leadership team and the people running the school and to communicate through those processes. Of course, we're always also available via email. I'm pretty good about getting back within 48 hours. Every once in a while, it may take longer if there's things happening on a campus level that have to take my attention, but I'll always try to at least get back and say, hey, I got your email. I'm still seeking out the answers to your questions, but I'll follow up with you. I really pride myself in that because I think it's important that you know that, one, I see the message and that I value the message and that I want to try and support the best I can. And that goes across the board. Our whole leadership team's great with that, so definitely feel free to reach out whenever there's questions or concerns. Infinite Campus is the other one up there that I really wanted to point out, and I think a lot of, for elementary specifically, you'll see a lot of teachers using Class Dojo as well. I know my son, he just went into kindergarten and he used Class Dojo in his class. It's a great tool and it's an app you can download on your phone, and you can really see up to date when the teacher's updating how your student's doing. Did they have positive behavior? Were they prepared for the day, for class? All those different things are live on the app. Infinite Campus is a tool, and it's going to be your go-to tool for keeping track of your students' academic success, especially in the elementary grade levels. Once they get into secondary and high school, we really try to train the students to advocate and take responsibility for those things, but we're still teaching them those skill sets at K through 5, K through 4 especially. K5, at 5, we try to start to encourage some independence as we split up the classes into separate teachers. But then once you go over to middle school, definitely advocating for the students more. But K4, for sure, the parents are going to have to do some heavy lifting with keeping them on task with different things that are going on. And so this is going to be a great tool for you and something you can access on your phone as an app as well. I love it because if you're missing an assignment or your student's missing an assignment, you'll get a reminder on your phone and it will update you. It will say M, missing assignment, what date, what the assignment was. And all these things are front loaded and communicated through that app. So if you haven't already, I would definitely encourage you to log in and look at it. If you have any issues logging in, please reach out to us because we're more than happy to get you on and set up. I don't want to see, because it's happened before where it comes to the end of the year and then we're having a conversation about retention or something going on or having to take summer classes, and inevitably it's like, I didn't know how to get logged into this application, and it's fair enough, and it's probably true, but I just want everybody to know we want to help. So if you do want to use that tool and you can't get in, please, please, please reach out and we'll get you set up. These are just school norms to touch on real quick for communication and just the order in which that communication should take place. The biggest thing for me on this slide that I want to touch on is the bottom part, and that's we all have a common purpose here. We're all here for the students. Our goals are aligned, the school and you guys as families and guardians and parents. We're here for the same reason. So we're all human. I know we have bad days sometimes, but I think the more that we can interact with each other and give a little grace from time to time, both from teacher to parent, parent to teacher. I just really am a true believer that if you're kind and thoughtful, a lot more solutions can come from that energy than can come from the frustration, the negativity, and the attacking someone. It's a lot harder to find a positive solution when that's the starting point than if you come at it from a different angle. So as much as possible when communicating, we'll obviously do the same as well from a school to families. Treat everybody respectfully, and we just ask that the same is returned to us when we're interacting, that we're all aligned. We have the same goal at the end of the day, and that's that the students are successful at the school. This is a little bit about attendance. The big component here that I just wanted to touch on real quick is about the unexcused absences, where it's 3 bullet points down. So anything under 3 days, a parent can write a note to our attendance clerk to excuse absences. For example, student wakes up, has a stomach ache. You know it's not something that they're going to have to be taken to the doctors. But it is something to where they need to stay home at least for that day. If they're going to come to school the next day and they're only out 1 day, you can go on our website and you can write a note to our attendance clerk to excuse that absence, which is fine. Anything under 3 days, that's permitted. Once it gets over that 3-day threshold, that's something where we would need more extensive documentation from the actual provider. We wouldn't be able to excuse that. But anything under 3 days, if you submit it as a parent, that's really helpful for the school to document that so we're aware when we're having conversations with students, but also so it's not marked as an unexcused absence. Another thing to consider too that's on our website is if you do plan or already have planned any long-term trips, hopefully not, but I get that it happens. Sometimes there's family reunions, sometimes there's trips that have been planned for years, different things that are happening in life that you can't work around school time. If you are going to be out for a week or longer at a time. There's prearranged absence forms that you can find on our website. This is really important to fill these out. This allows the teacher to have advance notice ahead of time that your student will be missing, and they can front load some of those assignments and work so that they're not coming back and walking into a mound of work that's waiting for them, along with getting caught up. So if you do have any of those trips, just make sure you're filling out one of those forms. That helps us help your student. It's pretty self-explanatory. Be on time. All right, behavior. I'm just going to touch on this briefly, and I'll keep it simple because I know everybody in this room right now is never going to be in the office for any reason. It's going to be a wonderful school year, no issues whatsoever. I'm confident of that. In the case that there is, a couple things. One, do we hold high expectations? Absolutely, we do. Do we know, especially in kinder through 4th, 5th grade, that they're kids and they're learning? Yeah, we do. And there's different types of behaviors and different things that happen. What we really try to do, especially at the younger age, is identify patterns and reasons, antecedents. What's going on? Why is the student having this reaction? Is it because there's something, a pure conflict? Is it because they don't like sitting in a certain place? Who knows? Students, especially at a younger age, can't articulate and verbalize in the same way maybe an older student could when they come into the office. So a lot of it is us trying to figure it out. Obviously, we count on you as parents when we call and are like, hey, have you seen this behavior at home? You're like, nope, never happens. I get that, and that's possible. That is possible too, because it's a different environment, right? So that is possible. But nevertheless, we just want it to be a partnership and a conversation, but we're always trying to take, especially in elementary school, a real proactive approach to trying to figure out the why behind it. But there are certain things that do result in consequences, right? There's some no pass zones, bullying, no pass zone, fighting, no pass zone. Those are probably the main two that don't happen a lot, but those are things sometimes from time to time you can see in the younger grade levels. And maybe they don't know what those words mean, or that it's not intentional. And that's also very true, especially kinder through 2nd grade. It probably doesn't really register, but that's up to us to be able to help them navigate and teach them better skills and ways to cope with those things and interact in a better way that's going to be more productive as they go through our school and become adults. All right, uniform. So we are a uniform school. Hopefully everybody knew that already. If you haven't already, we do have some uniforms for sale today here. They are over in the MP room. No, it's done? I'm getting it's done for today? Okay, well, reach out to Ms. Freeman. Ms. Freeman's gonna be your point of contact if you do need uniforms. Ms. Freeman's a safe school professional over in elementary. She's amazing. She'll help you out and get you connected if you or someone you know needs some extra uniforms or needs some support in that regard. Otherwise, Uniform Store has plenty in stock, and they're always able to get different sizes. This is our comprehensive uniform policy that's forever changing and adapting because styles change and adapt and clothes change and adapt. So we continue to evolve with it and add things to our policy. I'm not gonna obviously go through all this, but I do encourage you as families to go onto our website and just take a look through it. There's some like little different intricacies, for example, like no pockets on pants, different things like that that are important at different levels. Just take a look, and if you have problems finding any of the things that they need to wear, reach out to us because we've been doing it for a few years and have different locations and places that parents can shop and have found success at. So if there's any questions, definitely reach out, but take a look at that. The first few weeks were pretty lenient. We give students the benefit of the doubt. We know obviously we're all getting adjusted to a new year. If you're first time at Pinecrest Cadence, you're getting adjusted to maybe having to wear a uniform for the first time. And so we give it a week or so. We'll just give little reminders of, and probably send an email home to parents of, hey, this is what they need to wear. This wasn't within our uniform policy. But then after a month or so, there are different expectations and different consequences based off those things. Not as much in elementary, but definitely in secondary. This is our free dress policy. And then blended learning. So technology is here to stay, and technology integration into education is definitely only going to continue to speed up. As a STEAM school, we definitely embed technology and the use of technology in all that we do. And part of that is using our blended learning tools. And so we have two main blended learning tools, three I guess, in elementary, ST Math, iReady, and AR. And so one of those, iReady, is something that we give a diagnostic for at the beginning of the year, and then we give a couple other diagnostics throughout the year. iReady is super unique and important because what it does is it's adaptable. So it adapts to the students' levels based off of how they perform. So it's really important to students that when you're in there, I know it's not always fun, but you try your very, very best, because when you take that test, it's going to level them based off of how well they perform. If they don't try their best, it's going to put them lower than where they really should be and not challenge them. If they do at least try their best, it's either going to push them further and challenge them higher, or maybe it will notice, hey, there's some foundational skills that they need to work on. So it will scaffold those foundational skills in there, help close some gaps. And so iReady is a really great tool. The other one is ST Math. ST Math, I got to teach it. I was a first grade teacher and a fourth grade teacher at Pinecrest Horizon, actually. And ST Math is one of those things, parents, I encourage you to sit down one night with your students to do some ST Math. ST Math is wild because there's no directions. You're just this little penguin trying to figure out math problems. But it's super intuitive, and the correlation between students that are successful with these programs and students that are academically successful in their classroom as well as successful on high stakes testing, it's almost identical. Like those who succeed and do well in blended learning also succeed and do well in the others. So it's not one for one always. There's always, a possible outlier, but the majority, the large majority, the students who are actively, consistently involved in the blended learning also do very well academically at our school as well as on state testing. So those are the programs. We are a one-to-one technology school. All right, before and after care, I'll just briefly go over this. General info is the tab on our website that you'll want to click on. If you click on general info and go down, you'll see before and after care. If you do need to take advantage of our before or after care program, you'll find all the information you need under this tab. It's really comprehensive. It has a breakdown structure of all the price points, what it looks like, registration fees, as well as a link for you to sign up and register for before or after care. So if you need to take advantage of that, definitely do so. But general info tab on our website, that's going to give you the most in-depth information. And this is that Infinite Campus portal that we were talking about earlier. Another component to that from a parent's perspective is you'll be able to see the fees and payments. So whenever we have, if your student's involved in something, an activity, a club that has a fee associated with it, or a technology fee, or if there's a field trip, all those fees will be on the Infinite Campus account. Really important to stay up to date with that. The one thing that we do try to do, especially if it's a bigger fee, like let's say for a field trip, is we try to put it on ahead of time so that families have a little bit of time to see and prepare accordingly if need be. Same thing with some of the bigger programs that have more expensive costs associated with them, specifically like performing arts things, like dance is one that comes to mind for me because my students involved with dance, as they'll put it on at the beginning of the year, but they give you the breakdown month by month. So then it only highlights the ones that you owe for that month, but you can see what the whole month looks like, so that allows you to at least try to plan as best you can appropriately for those expenses coming up. These are some examples of those expenses that potentially could be found on those fee tabs. Label, 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 especially in elementary, definitely want to label all the stuff that you send to school with your student. I know all the kiddos are super responsible, but sometimes we get distracted, we put something down, we turn around, it's not there, it got up and walked away. We do have a lost and found, but when we have something that we can find a name in, it's really easy for us then to take it back to their class. If we don't have a name in it, we'll put it in a lost and found, we'll keep it for a little while. but it's so much easier if we can have a name, because then we can just go to the front office, look up the name, and get it right back to the student. National School Lunch is free to all students for this school year again. Campus safety. I'm just going to be brief with this as well too, but academics 1A, safety 1A minus, like they're hand in hand, right? Safety and academics, hand in hand. Both are the things that we focus on the most as a school. Really proud of our organization being Pinecrest, and then specifically Pinecrest Cadence. We've gotten so much feedback from the state that we're always at the forefront of all the safety measures and things that we do, both in the training standpoint, but also just in a proactive standpoint of putting things in, different fencing, different protection items, buzzers, things like that. We also have worked closely with a lot of these agencies that you see up here, Henderson Police, the SWAT. They both have used our facility as well for training exercises, and we're just grateful to have such great partnerships with both those organizations and appreciate the service that they do for us and for our community. Just a few reminders for tomorrow morning when everybody's ready and excited to bring their student to school. These are a few key components to consider. Please, 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 5 miles an hour in the car loop. Sometimes people will get going real fast, especially down that back stretch. I get it, we're running late. We need to get to work too. We gotta drop our kid off. There's a lot going on for parents sometimes. I understand the stresses associated with that. But there's kids, and these kids run out in the streets, and all it takes is one accident, and it changes everything. For you, for the school, for the kid, for the family, it's not worth it. We also have staff members that are out there and putting themselves in harm's way, standing in the middle of the street, trying to monitor and keep kids safe. So please be respectful, be courteous, pay attention, don't be on your phone, and just watch when you get in the car loop what's going on. There will be a lot of people, especially tomorrow, giving directions, having signs, directing people. The first week, we just ask for grace. It does take a week for us to get adjusted, all of us, right? It's a bigger school, there's more families, that means there's more drivers, there's more people coming to our building. But after a week or so, everyone gets spread out and we get into a good groove and a routine, and things go very seamlessly. Additionally, onto that is once secondary and elementary start after school programming, like sports, which is pretty quickly, that cuts out like half the traffic. So within like a week or two, it really does find a nice groove. And so if we can just all be patient with each other that first week, I plan on doing a Facebook post today just to walk around the car loop and give a visual, because I'm a visual person, so I want to provide that visual to the community as well. And then throughout the week, if there's different things that pop up, different areas that we can tweak that we think might help us to be more efficient, we'll of course communicate that as well. Retrieve tags from homeroom teachers. This is going to be super important today. When you go to see your homeroom teacher, make sure you get your students' ID tags. If you don't have the ID tags, you cannot pick them up. We will not release a student without the ID tags. So it needs to be visible in the window. As you get to school, you'll see that there will be people that scan those IDs. What happens is we have a system that it sends a signal up to that classroom to let the teacher know, hey, this student's parents are here, this is the gate that they'll be at, and it allows us to seamlessly get that student out to that gate safely. The first few weeks, the teachers will practice with the students, so they get over that discomfort or nervousness. By the end of a week, they're like, I got it, and they're running out by themselves, they'll be fine. But that first week we will help them. We'll go through simulations and practice it a little bit, but you gotta make sure you have your tags. If you don't have your tags, they're gonna make you go to the office and show ID and get a new tag. You're not gonna be able to just go through the car loop and pick up your student. Okay, for elementary, we will be opening up morning ceremony for families. We want to be open campus as much as possible. This probably won't happen for a week or two though, for a couple reasons. One, we just think it's important for our teachers and students to settle into a routine. And number two, just wanting to figure out where our parking is. Because we are going to be at a place next year or two where we're not going to have any parking on campus except for students. We're not going to have a lot of overflow parking for parents. We're working on ways that we can possibly accommodate this. There's potentially a solution. We'll see what happens. But we'll continue to go down those roads and let you know when we find out. But for right now, there's not going to be a ton of space. What I did do, or what we will do for tomorrow, because I know there's, for kindergarten families, the Boohoo Breakfast, we've blocked off, and we'll do this in the video too so that you can see the second part of the back of the loop where there's parking spots closest to the tetherball court, closest to the elementary, where parents can park tomorrow, because we've only released to juniors and seniors for parking. But eventually when we have sophomores, juniors, and seniors all driving, there's not gonna be a lot of parent parking. So we're gonna have to figure out other ways that we can make that work. But for right now, in about a week or two, we'll open it up. When you do come in for morning ceremonies, you will need ID, and they will check those. PTO, I encourage anybody who would like to be involved with PTO to do so. We have the best PTO there is in the state for my money. They're absolutely incredible. They're involved. They're super proactive. They support the school. We could not do what we do without their support, for sure. They provide so many different avenues for activities, events. They just put on a pool party at Black Mountain for middle schoolers. The Kona Ice that's out here, that's PTO. They have Harvest Festival that they help out a lot with. There's a lot of different things that PTO is involved in and support, and we couldn't do it without PTO's help. So if you want to be involved and be a part of that, I definitely encourage. You'll see them walking around outside. These are some of the other ways that families can get involved and participate. Always looking for coaches if there's any coaches out there. K-8 coaches for flag football, t-ball, if you're brave, soccer, any of those things. We're always looking for coaches. And I'm talking to the athletic director. We're looking for ways to possibly incentivize some of those parent coaches if they are interested, which I can talk to you individually if that's something you'd like to do. So if you don't have this, you can take a picture, but this is the Boohoo Breakfast for the kindergarten families. It was communicated out, I believe, and it's probably on the Facebook page, but go ahead and take a picture if you want. Then I just have, how am I doing? I've been behind on timing all day. Am I good?
You're way over.
I'm way over, okay.
40 minutes on the
All right, so this is the last thing, I promise. So this is our car loop. I just wanted to show you a visual. Everybody does have to come in on Taylor Street. So you come in on Taylor Street, this is this road right here. Please do not turn in that first area, it's one way. If you turn in that direction, you're gonna be going into traffic. If you go around, you're gonna go around all the way around back, and you're gonna be directed around to the front. Right here is the loading area. You're gonna wanna sit there and wait, and that's where your students are gonna be released from. Once all students are released, the direction will be given and this group will be released through, and then they'll let the next group in. So we'll have multiple staff members all around the car loop directing you and supporting as you go around if you have questions. For elementary in the morning, we don't start the transition into elementary car loop till 7:25. So at 7:25, once you get into car loop, that's when elementary starts. We load elementary from 7:25 to 7:35, and then we release into school at 7:35. If you come before 7:25, they're gonna loop you around if you're just elementary, because we still need to get our secondary parents in and get their students out. So just try to time it the best you can. Park in Albertsons, have a coffee, hang out, and then pull in. However you want to do it. We cannot promote parking on these side roads or in communities, but it is what it is sometimes. So that's all I have. Actually, the one last thing before everybody goes, I just want to say is thank you. It's a privilege to work in a state that has choice for public education. I think it's really important that we as a community, you as parents, have a choice for public education for your student. And it doesn't go unnoticed that you had to choose us, and so we appreciate that. We hold that in high regard, and we take it seriously when it comes to educating your students and preparing them for the future. So thank you for choosing Pinecrest Cadence. Thank you for choosing us. We're excited. It's going to be a great school year, and tomorrow's go time. So here we go. All right, have a good day. Thank you.